How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? How y'all doing? I hope everybody is having a good Friday, man. My Friday has been all right at this point. I just woke up. I woke up to some disturbing ass news. Like when I get up in the morning, I'm not gonna lie to y'all and say the first thing I do is brush my teeth and wash my face. That's a motherfucking lie. When I get up in the morning, the first thing I do is roll over and disconnect my phone from the charger and see what's going on my news feed. And then as I'm checking my news feed, I get up, go to the restroom, wash my face, brush my teeth, that type of shit. So when I got up this morning, I had woke up to a message in my DM. Shout out to 713. 713 always sending me stuff. He sent me stuff that he know that I want to see. And that was definitely something that I would have wanted to see. I would have eventually seen it, but knowing that it came, seeing that 713 had sent me anything, I was like, let me look. I looked, and they said my dog Don Lemon done got locked up last night. Like, federal agents came to his house and took him to jail. And to be honest, I don't like that. That's fucked up for real, because as Americans, our first, the journalists have rights. You know what I mean? And Don Lemon been a journalist for 30 years, but I'm gonna get into that in a minute. I wanted to kind of run down some things to y'all. Uh, Today is January 29th, 2026, and I wanted to tell y'all a couple of things that I done seen in the news today, or it's just throughout this week, because today is Friday, so I done seen a lot. But the first thing I seen was DHS places 2 agents who killed Alex Pretty on administration leave. The Department of Homeland Security Wednesday placed 2 agents, the one that popped Renee Good, and the other one that fired all those rounds into the veteran nurse, him. They shot 10 rounds into him, so that dude was put on administrative leave. And I find it funny that y'all can take major actions when it comes to Don Lemon doing his job as a independent reporter. And then Don Lemon is just not like a podcaster or nothing. He used to be on CNN, NBC. Like, he's a real reporter. Like, he's a real reporter. Due to this administration, he ain't on CNN no more. But same thing with Joy Reid. So that's kind of crazy that they can find time to go to LA and drag this man from his home for doing his job as a journalist. And it ain't like me running out there trying to, act like I'm a journalist. He been doing this shit for 30 years. I'm sure he got a couple of press badges tucked away somewhere. You know what I mean? And the reason why they locking him up is because I don't know. It was this black lady. I can't remember her name, but it was a black lady that got a protest together. She found out that one of the ICE agents, it was an ICE agent that was a pastor over a church. And I don't know, he may or may not have been involved with Renee Good. Or no, he was Renee Good's pastor, but he was also an ICE agent. So they done got him They went to his church and started protesting inside the church about him being a federal ICE agent and Renee's Goods pastor. So Donald Trump them didn't like that. And they locked the head lady up. And they called for Don Lemon's arrest at the same time. Like, they wanted him to get in trouble. But it was a federal judge that said, like, nah, we ain't doing that. We not locking him up. He a journalist. There's not enough evidence to lock him up. So what did they do? One judge won't work. We're going to find somebody else to do it. And that's what they did. They went and found another judge to do that. But y'all still ain't did nothing about what happened to these two American people that were unalive unjustly by the federal agents. We kept telling you, like, I kept saying, like, he gonna fuck over the Constitution. He gonna fuck over the Constitution, and that's exactly what's happening. No way should Don Lemon been arrested yesterday, and these two federal agents are just sitting on administrative leave for murder. You know what I mean? There's no way that Don Lemon should have been arrested when it's two federal ICE agents that done murdered two white people in broad daylight. It just don't make sense. When he was doing his job. Meanwhile, ICE and Border Patrol agents have carried out raids across Minnesota. They even tried to raid some like foreign building that they have in Minnesota. They tried to enter it's some territory of Ecuador or something that ICE tried to raid. And they ended up filing a formal complaint with the embassy of Ecuador because why the fuck is U.S. American agents just targeting anything that look like it's supposed to be, that it's not supposed to be here? You know what I mean? So, and it's no, like, people are filing complaints or whatever, and I guess by them filing a complaint with Ecuador embassy, maybe something to get done, but right now it's just looking like Trump doing whatever the fuck he wants to. It looked like he done really went into that glass where the Constitution is held, and you know it's probably got a little light shining on it or whatever. It looked like he gonna go in that bitch and just rip that bitch up on camera. You know what I mean? All right, what else happened? I'm going to still keep talking about Don Lemon between whatever else I wrote down, but because I watch Don Lemon like every day. Yesterday, he had Hakeem Jeffries up there. He had some white dude named Michael that was really funny, but Hakeem Jeffries was really talking cash shit about Kristi Noem. You know what I mean? But Michael came back and was like, anybody pointing and calling for Kristen Noem, or whatever, how the fuck you say her name, anybody calling for her to be impeached is missing the target. And Michael kind of made sense because why would she ain't the brains of this operation. She just the face. It's some other dude. They kept saying his name. It's a dude. Chris, Steven, somebody, some white man. They was like, he is the one that needs to be, the spotlight needs to be on him, basically. Like, we focus on Kristi Noem because she the face. And it kind of exposed Hakeem Jeffries and them. Like, why are y'all trying to get us to point, look at this lady? Because they asked about him and they was like, Hakeem Jeffries was like, one person at a time. We got to get her first. No, we don't need to get her because that bitch ain't got a brain. We don't need to get Kristi Noem because she don't got a brain. She is a battery-operated, old-school ass Barbie with a Botox face. They put the battery in her back to get up there in the at that podium and say the shit that she say. That's why her speech against what happened to Alex Pretty and the head dude over ICE at the time, they speech, you could put them side by side as they was reading them speeches, and damn near word for word they said the exact same thing. Get the bitch that wrote the speech. Get the bitch that wrote the speech. Get the motherfucker that's giving the orders. Get all they ass up. At this whole administration needs to be abolished. For real. Seriously. Sorry. Siri, I ain't talking to you. You go. Man, they just want a friend real bad. Okay. All right. And then, hold on, what was I telling y'all? I done got lost. I got lost. Okay, and then yesterday, Donald Trump had his first cabinet meeting of 2026, right? Had his first cabinet meeting of 2026 and didn't say a bitch ass thing about Minnesota or what's going on over there. He did say that they was gonna build a commercial air force, commercial airport in Venezuela. He also said some dumbass shit like they not gonna lower the cost of housing because we don't want to make it cheaper for lazy people to be able to buy a house. Like what? We want to keep our homeowners safe or something like that. Okay, homeowners, they don't pay rent, mortgage, or nothing like that. Now, some homeowners might have signed up and took a mortgage out on their house, but like if they haven't done that, then they own their house outright. They still have to pay property taxes on their house, dog. So them not bringing down the cost of housing is not helping nobody. He is a dumbass. And then what lazy person do you know that qualifies for a house? What lazy person do we know that's qualified for a house? So some of the shit that he be saying just don't make sense. Yesterday, the Senate reached a deal to not have a government shutdown, and we thank Jesus. They came to a deal. Now, remember, I don't know if y'all remember, I was telling y'all about how it was 7 Democrats on the Congress side that voted to give ICE more money. So when the vote hit the Senate desk, the Senate didn't kind of like go with the way they wanted to go because the Senate didn't vote to give ICE the money. Hold on. Senate Democrats said Thursday they have struck an agreement to move forward with a package of bills to avert partial government shutdown. Trump reportedly sued yours. Oh yeah. So we ain't going into government shutdown, and the Senate kind of like didn't want to give ICE that money that Congress had voted to give them. Hey, Flip Mo, how you doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Now, another thing that happened yesterday, Trump reportedly sues U.S. Treasury and IRS for $10 billion. On January 28th, the president suing the IRS for $10 billion because somebody supposedly leaked his tax information. Remember, he didn't want to give up his tax information for a little while. And somebody supposedly leaked his shit. So now he want to sue the IRS. And he's suing his own DOJ, right? And as we can see, the DOJ is doing whatever the fuck Donald Trump tell them to do. And same with the Republican Congress, the Republican Senate, these Republican judges that he has appointed. everybody that he has put in place is kind of like yes man to do whatever the fuck he saying. Look at Nicki Minaj. She is a yes man and she done paid for her. I'm gonna break Nicki Minaj ass down too in a minute. But everybody around him is yes men. They don't give a fuck if it's right or wrong or indifferent. They just he said yes, we gonna go yes. So if he's suing them for 10 billion and they ain't nothing but a whole bunch of yes bitches in the first place, then 9 times out of 10 he gonna win that case, right? This man has made more money in his first year of president than any sitting president in U.S. history. They said normally presidents make probably like somewhere in the 40 millions throughout their whole year of president. Hey, Will Illy. Good morning. Salute to you, my chest. Good morning. But yeah, they said maybe a sitting president throughout his 4 years, they make somewhere like maybe 40 billion. That's roughly, and that's just going off the top of my head by memory. And sometimes my memory ain't that good. That's why I write a lot of shit down. I might be wrong off. I might be off by the numbers, but that's it. This nigga done made billions his first year. You got people paying for pardons. You got people paying for citizenship. And the reason why I said Nicki Minaj paid for her citizenship is because them Trump accounts, when you file your taxes this year, I don't know if you filing fast or if you filing slow, it's going to be a questionnaire on there that asks you, do you want a Trump account? And they tell you they'll start the account off with $1,000. It's like they'll start the account off. It's a Trump account for your kid. You can't touch the money that you put in there. The kid can only get to it when they turn 18. It sounds like a good thing, right? But you have to have a kid with between 2026 and 2028. So they trying to get everybody to sign up for these Trump accounts, so that people can start putting money in there for their kids or whatever. But, raising kids, anything can happen. God forbid something happened to your kid before they turn 18. Then what happened to the money? Because you ain't supposed to be able to touch it. This supposed to be an account for your kid. And then they want them to have more babies, but bitch, are they gonna be able to feed the kids? You know what I mean? Like, that's supposed to be your baby boomer shit or whatever. But we ain't anybody having a kid right now. I mean, that's a blessing, but at the same time, times is hard. They can't feed that kid, and you talking about you gonna start this account with $1,000, and you want people to add to it, and it's gonna gain interest and shit like that. But nigga, this ain't the time. People already ain't got no money. You want people to get this account and be looking at $1,000 every day that they can't touch. Man, get real with life. My homegirl, like, I got real friends that make real money. You know what I mean? Like, my best friend worked for the sheriff's department. I got a homeboy that do taxes. He make real good money. I know I got people that make money. My cousin, you got the rich cousin, but everybody that I know that I look up to, that be like, damn, they doing their damn thing. You know what I mean? Everybody that I look up to, and these are my friends and family, and people that I say like, damn, y'all really y'all made it in life, right? They having problems too. You know what I mean? My best friend just told me she working from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. trying to make it, you know? So ain't nobody got time to be having no kids and sitting there looking at a Trump account that's got $1,000 in it. But Nicki Minaj, you know, they had signed that damn petition for her ass to get out of here. After she met up with Charlie Kirk's wife, they signed a petition. Like, they had a petition going on Instagram, like, sign this for Nicki Minaj's deportation. I ain't know the bitch wasn't legal for real until she started dipping and dabbling in politics, you know. But so what she did was she already was buttering up to them, but then when the Trump accounts came out, that's why she was at that financial thing and why she was walking around the White House outlet that day, because she had gotten so many Trump accounts and gifted them to people that they didn't. It was like, we don't got no choice but to recognize your black ass. Girl, get your nigga ass up here. Come get this gold card and show the niggas that it's real. Fuck is you talking about? Nicki is the biggest sellout of 2026. I used to think it was Charleston White because Charleston White from my city. And, you know, at first Charleston White was talking about, like, empowering the black community. Charleston White, it was a dude in my city named JC Steptoe had basically popped a police officer, and Charleston White got on live and was, yes, I praise that young king JC Steptoe, da 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 this, woo woo. He told the story here recently, like not too long ago. But he was like, I pray, and the city of Fort Worth Police Department has not fucked with Charleston White ever since he did that shit. Yeah, he can do good shit all he want to, but they not fucking with him for real. So Nicki Minaj, she just kind of sold her soul to the devil in real time. And ain't no coming back from that. So that's how she got her fucking citizenship, and he just making money on top of money on top of money on top of money. And I ain't hating, but if you can make that amount of money, then you can bring the prices of food down. You can stop making dumbass decisions that's got our fucking ground beef at $27 a family pack. A bitch can't even have family taco Tuesday night with my kids no more because ground beef is too goddamn high. You know, that shit is crazy. But it's not like, oh yeah, you pocket watching him, da da. No, it's not that. It's just that I'm working. I work 40 hours, sometimes over that a week to provide for my family, and I make a decent amount of money. But it's still like, god damn, I can't even save. I can't even save. You know, I had like 10% going to my savings every time I got paid. I can't even do that shit no more. Because I don't get food stamps. I got to spend cash on food. I got car insurance, you know, shit going on. And he talking about every time he get up and speak, it's infuriating sometimes because he be saying shit that's just bold-faced lies. Like, the prices are going down. And then this your second year and you still blaming Biden when you got here, the numbers were on a incline. They were on an incline because of what you did the first time. They were already on a decline from when you was in the presidential, when you was in the seat at first. So everything you did in your first 4 years, Biden took and was trying to reverse it. So yes, gas prices were higher during his administration because we're trying to get the economy back how it's supposed to be. And just right when it get fixed at the end of his term, everybody back working, people seeing money, prices of food ain't all the way down, but it's manageable. I think eggs was the biggest thing at the end of his term. Now it's everything. Everything high. And every time he sit up there and say the price is going down, you a motherfucking liar. For a gallon of super, well, a gallon of plus is $3.34 as of last night. Hey, Mouthpiece. They did Don Lemon so fucking wrong, man. I'm finna get to Don Lemon, though. I'm finna get to Don Lemon. I just feel like he fucked up the economy, jobs, and the tariffs in 1 year. Tariffs, and he kept on saying tariffs like tariffs was such the fix all to everything. But since he has implemented tariffs, China has started booming because they booming in the trade industry because instead of them being like, okay, Trump, we're gonna work out a deal with you, we're gonna do something to make you happy, they said, fuck you, nigga. We finna start doing deals with your allies. We finna start making moves around with your allies, and your allies gonna fuck with us because our technology is better than yours. Our cars are better than yours. You know what I mean? We can get our soybeans from somewhere else. We can get our ground beef. We can send our ground beef to somewhere else. You get what I'm saying? So China been doing the damn thing, and he thought his chess move was if I implement this. He thought his chess move was if I implement these tariffs on these companies that are manufacturing outside of the United States, because that's what it tariffs. Okay, tariffs is supposed to be like almost like it's supposed to be a nice way of saying we're gonna punish you for not doing your business in the United States, right? We gonna that's basically like we finna tax you, we finna add this tax on you, so everything that you do import to us, the person that you importing it to, they gonna have to pay this large tax thing for your business being in another country. When your goods get to the port, whatever, that company in China is not going to pay when those goods get to the port, right? And it gets unloaded. Whatever company that's importing those goods from that manufacturer has to pay those tariffs at the port. When those goods get into the store, a company like Walmart, Save a Lot, whatever grocery store you go to, Menards, wherever you go to do your grocery shopping, they aren't gonna bite the bullet of this extra tax that they paid at the port. They not finna do that. That's why you see prices going up in stores on shit that you used to buy. They used to be $1.99. Now that shit $3.15. You know what I mean? That's why you see the prices going up on things that you used to buy that are imported, because somebody got to pay for that tariff. And ain't now one of these businesses gonna say, I'm gonna bite the bullet and just pay the tariffs and keep my prices the same. No, that's not happening. Stores are going to start closing. People are going to start losing their jobs. And we see that. We see stores closing. It's a Second Save in my neighborhood right now that is finna get closed. Big Lots got closed. They closed the CVS. We had two of them here in this town that I live in. One of them got closed. You know, so nah, we had three. I take that back. We had three. So I'm saying all that to say that his big running point with the tariffs, it sounded good, but like he be thinking he playing chess, but that shit backfired because those companies are not coming back to the U.S. to do their business here. Why? Because it kind of, they still have to pay. They still gonna have to pay more than what they doing now. If they bring their business here, now they gotta pay our bougie asses more than what they would pay over there in China or Vietnam or wherever the fuck they manufacturing it, because those people work for cheaper labor. So if they bring their businesses over here, they gotta pay us what the fuck we worth. I think federal minimum wage is like $7.25. A lot of states have independently started raising their minimum wage. Project 2025 is in full effect, Mouthpiece. So they have yeah, so the minimum wage has went up in certain states or whatever. So when they bring them businesses over here, they gotta pay American people what the wage is in that state. So either way, if the company stay overseas or if the company come back here, the company takes a loss either way. You know what I mean? So companies ain't really trying to take losses like that. You know, we the ones that have to pay. And I seen a report yesterday that said consumers, Americans, have paid 90 something percent of the tariffs that the other countries that he kept saying he was gonna tariff, like China. We're gonna add a 25% tariff tax on China. China ain't giving a fuck about that because they ain't the one paying for the shit. Okay, now let me get to Don Lemon real quick because I'm finna get up out of here. Don Lemon, I was telling y'all, that's my guy. And I was watching his show yesterday, Clutching My Pearls, because he had Hakeem Jeffries. I was telling y'all earlier, but he had Hakeem Jeffries on his platform yesterday. And Hakeem Jeffries was kind of like doing his political. I told y'all I don't trust Hakeem Jeffries because Hakeem Jeffries talk too much with his hands. It's like he trying to get you to focus on his hands and not what's coming out of his mouth. The shit that he say out his mouth be the shit that he say that be coming out his that comes out of his mouth. It be some shit be ear tickling, you know. And it took that white man Michael yesterday. If y'all didn't watch Don Lemon show yesterday, y'all should go back and watch it. It was some dude named Michael came up there and he was really pointing out the bullshit. Like, instead of going after Christy Noman, we need to be going after this other. It's a guy, I can't remember his name, but they was like, we need to be going after him because Christy Noman ain't got no brain. She ain't running shit. And if you think that she running shit, you part of the problem, basically. You know? And his show was really good and informative yesterday. I sat there and listened to the whole thing while I was at work. And then after that, the federal agents go to his house and he was reporting on the Grammys, matter of fact. It wasn't even at his house. He was reporting on the Grammys last night, and federal agents arrested him for what happened in Minnesota. And I feel like when they start arresting journalists for doing journalism, that's a part of the Constitution, y'all. Hold on, let me look up and see. I think. Hold on, wait a minute. When they started arresting journalists for reporting, because that's all he did when he went in that church. He was asking the pastor reporter questions. He wasn't in there like, get this ICE agent. He wasn't out there yelling with the protesters. He was reporting what the protesters were doing. Okay. All right, so here we go. Don Lemon was arrested by federal agents. Former CNN anchor Don Lemon was taken into custody in Los Angeles in connection with a Minnesota church protest tied to anti-ICE activism. The protest happened at City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Demonstrators erupted a church service over immigration enforcement, and ICE. Really what it was is that the pastor of that church was Renee Good's pastor, and he was a federal ICE agent. And the black lady that led the protest is the one that kind of put a spotlight on him and said, let's go storm his church service. Okay. So Lemon says he was there as a journalist documenting the protest, not participating. And that's true. If you've seen it, like he talked to the activist lady before they stormed the church, and he was kind of asking her what they was doing and woo woo woo. And then she told him what they was doing, and he kind of followed them with his camera and microphone, reporting on what was happening. And then when the pastor got there, when he got to the pastor, he was just asking the pastor journalistic questions about him being a federal agent and what happened to Renee Good. You know, you have a right as an American to protest, and you have a right as a journalist to report and talk about stuff, right? Um, Possible charges. Attorneys are reported considering charges like civil rights conspiracy, interfering with religious worship, potential violations tied to a protest. Active charges are still clarified publicly. They don't know what the fuck they want to charge him with. Civil rights conspiracy. What is the civil rights conspiracy about him? About him reporting on a protest. What's this interfere now? Okay, the interfering with religious worship. I mean, that could be a thing, you know. I don't know, but I don't know. This is how he responded. This is an attack on press freedom, and I think it is. Lemon's actions were protected by the First Amendment. Okay, it's the First Amendment. His plans to fight. He plans to fight the charges aggressively. Let me read this. Don Lemon was arrested along with 3 others in connection with a protest that disrupted service at City's Church in St. Paul on January 18th. The protest targeted a church where an ICE. I can't even read the rest of that shit. I can't read it. It won't let me go down. Okay. This case is sparking debate about freedom of press, journalists covering protests, government power versus civil rights. That's really, to me, what it is, like government power versus civil rights, government power versus journalists covering anything that got to do with this administration, government power versus freedom of press. That's what this is about. They don't want us recording. You see how them ICE agents is like slapping people phones out their hand. I think everything is a fear tactic. Like, if all right, y'all better shut the fuck up, because if we'll arrest Don Lemon, a journalist of 30 years, what you think we're gonna do to y'all other independent bitches? You know what I mean? That's I feel like now this is where it get real serious. His legal team, his legal team is saying this is an attack on freedom of press. And honestly, if journalists can be arrested for covering protests, what does that mean for all the media going forward? They trying to show us an example. To be honest, this don't feel like law enforcement. It's very political. I be telling Sko all the time, everything is political. And if you doing anything political, like anything against this administration, it's like, I don't know. We've been seeing a pattern lately. Activists being targeted, protesters being labeled extremists, and now a high-profile black journalist is in cuffs. That should concern everybody. That should be it. Like, things that are happening, if you still sitting back saying Trump is a great president, I don't see how. Because look at our American streets. Our American streets from I feel like if we was from another country and we seen like basically shit, you see how we be looking at shit on the news that's happening in other countries. You see the shit when we be looking at shit that's happening in other countries on the news, we be like, damn, they going through it over there. They going through some shit over there. So I want to say, I got a couple of questions. Is this press freedom or law enforcement overreach? Would this would have happened if Don Lemon wasn't Don Lemon? Is this part of a larger crackdown? Does this set a dangerous precedent for creators and journalists? Yes. In my eyes, it damn sure does create dangerous stomping grounds for content creators and journalists. It definitely does. So that's all I have for y'all today, I think. Let me look through my shit and make sure. Wait. It's something else that I wanted to tell y'all. Oh yeah, Minnesota. Minnesota had a special election yesterday, and Democrats won 95% of the vote, right? But a lot of Republicans are saying because the Republican lawmaker dropped out, but his reason, like they missing over the reason for him dropping out. The reason for him dropping out was that he said he can't support this administration no more. Like he a Republican and he can't deal with how the Republicans are going moving forward. So he dropped out of the race and said the Democrats would do a better job than me running as a Republican and helping destroy this country. So he dropped out. So now Minnesota, they have a level balance of power in their congressional seats, in their House seats. But listen, in their House legislator seats. My words weren't coming out right. But I found something out yesterday that Minnesota. I keep wondering like why everything is happening in Minnesota. The last time Donald Trump was in office, Minnesota was the breeding ground for the bullshit. Remember? Now he in office again, and Minnesota is the breeding ground for the bullshit. Why? What's so special about Minnesota? Minnesota, in every presidential election since 1970 something, I want to say 74. In every presidential election, they call Minnesota the blue lock state. Since 74, Minnesota has voted blue. Since 74. They the only state that have stood true on being a blue state. That, you know what I mean? They have always voted blue. So could that be a reason why Minnesota is always the breeding ground for the bullshit when it comes to Trump and his administration. Because he know he never going to win them over. You know? So I just want y'all to think about that and have a good day, man. Think about that. And tomorrow, I don't know if I'm going to go live tomorrow, or do a StreamYard live tomorrow or Sunday. I might do it tomorrow. I ain't going to be able to do it tomorrow because I got some shit going on. I was going to help my dude get his house set up or whatever tomorrow. So y'all probably won't see me too much tomorrow. But Sunday, I'm going to try to give y'all a StreamYard live. I know I said that last weekend and I didn't do shit. Don't be mad at me. I did do shit. I did. I did Mouthpiece Panel and we kind of shared the live together, you know. So yeah, I did do something last weekend. This weekend, I'm going to try to do a StreamYard live so I can present videos and shit to y'all. You know what I mean? But, yeah, I had to come up here and talk about my goddamn lemon, man. That shit really pissed me the fuck off. It really made me mad. That was the first thing I seen when I woke up this morning. And I really be listening to him. But, all right, y'all. Y'all have a good day. It's Friday. I don't got nothing positive for y'all to say today.